So I've already done a drawing about how to follow the lines on a spiral roundabout or gyratory roundabout, but this video I've taken on the way over to holiday. My partner was driving, and I'm going to use this video a few times to show you about the guideline on the right or the guideline on the left and how to use it and follow it. So here we go. So of course this roundabout is massive, so the left lane can go to any exit on the left and including the straight on exit, which happens to be the third exit, and then the middle lane can also go straight on overtaking, so that's why we're in the middle, and I'm going to explain more about that soon. The right lane goes to any of the right turn exits. Okay, so let's begin. Let's just say that we've arrived at the roundabout and we've used the signs and we've used the road markings, and the exit that we want to take has told us that we need to be in the left lane. So that's easy enough, we've chosen the left lane. So just like the ambulance, if we're in the left lane, the line right next to his wheel on the right is called the guideline. And notice that he will follow the line on his right the entire time. So all he needs to do is literally just sort of latch onto that line, never cross it to the right, but just follow it all the way to his destination. Now, because we're going straight on at this roundabout, it's extremely likely that you're going to need to be in the left lane to go left or straight. So the ambulance could have taken any exit on the left and including the straight on. Okay, so say for instance you chose the middle lane to go straight on, because there's two lanes that go straight on here. The reason why me and my partner chose this lane is because where the ambulance was on the left was a massive BP garage and the traffic was really dense, so we went into the overtaking lane to allow him to come out, which was just us being pleasant. Now we're following the lane line on the right, which is called the guideline. Just like I explained about the ambulance following his lane line on the right, we're also following the lane line on the right. So it's a bit like going to Go Ape and you put your safety harness over the line on the right, you loop it round, you never cross the line on the right, but you just follow it like glue all the way round the roundabout. So you follow the line on the right. If you're lucky enough at the roundabout to have selected an exit that you needed to go to and it's put you in the left or the middle lane, you're quite lucky because the guideline on the right will be with you at the beginning, all through the roundabout, and then as you come out. So as you can see, we've been following the same line on the right the entire time to come out of the roundabout. And the ambulance did that as well, didn't he? He never, ever went over the line. He just followed the line on the right all the way out of the roundabout to get to his destination. So the most complicated one is when you approach on the far right line, which is called the rainbow jump, I like to call it. So let me tell you about that. Okay, so let's talk about being in the far right lane. There's no one in it at the moment, but let's just pretend that we're in the far right lane. Now this time, when you go into the roundabout, there isn't a lane line on the right. So say, for instance, you looked at all the pictures, all the signs, and it told you that you needed to be in the right-hand lane, then you'd select that lane because the sign told you to. And then you'd be like, damn it, there's no line on the right. So you would have to connect to the guideline on the left. So you would, because it's the only one that exists, right? There isn't one on the right, so you connect to the one on the left. So imagine being in the far right lane. You follow the lane line on the left like glue. So you stick to it. You don't cross it, because if you come over it to the left, you're going to come into the middle lane, which is what we spoke about a minute ago, and you don't want to be changing lanes. So follow the lane line on the left like glue. So you can see it's next to the traffic light there now. And then as it follows round now, can you see that it's starting to put you in the middle lane? If you follow the lane line on the left, now it's put you in a middle lane. So because of that, you now rainbow jump, so you don't bother with the line on the left anymore. You then take your awareness to the lane line on the right, connect to the lane line on the right, and then follow only the lane line on the right to go round the corner to the right, where the straight on arrow is on the floor now. Yeah, it's taking you round the corner to the traffic lights on the right, and you follow the line out of the roundabout, which says Oxford on the floor there, all the way round to the right. Now, there's more further information about that rainbow jump on my other video. Yeah, there's a drawn video about how to rainbow jump. So you basically take all of your awareness from the left and then you kind of go over the top and over to the right, which reminds me of a kind of rainbow jump, like an arc above you, like a rainbow. So awareness from the left all the way over to the right halfway through. Now, of course, I know that that's the most tricky one. All right, so we're going to do that again. So if you were to start in the right-hand lane, you're going to be coming up, and you can only attach to the lane line on the left, because when you go in the roundabout, there won't be a line on the right of you. It doesn't exist. There's nothing to connect to. So you have to connect to the lane line on the left. The ambulance can connect to the one on the right. We in the middle can connect to the one on the right, but the people in the far right lane don't have one on the right, so they need to connect to the one on the left. So the person in the middle lane is connected to the one on the right, and the person in the right lane is also connected to the same line that I'm talking about, but it's on their left. Okay, so the person in the far right lane is following the sign for Oxford there, and the lane line will be on his left as he passes this light, and he's following the lane line on the left as he goes round, and now he's starting to see another line, tiny little line on the floor, which is called a connector, and he rainbow jumps his attention from the left lane line because he doesn't need it anymore, and he takes his awareness over to the right-hand lane line now. See that big fat one where it says Oxford on the floor with a straight on arrow? He now connects to the one on the right, disregarding the one on the left completely because he doesn't need it anymore. He connects to the one to the right, and he follows the lane line to the right to follow the signs for Oxford with a straight line arrow on the floor, and he follows that lane line to the right all the way, never crossing it. His light is just gone red, or changing just to red now, and he'd stop at that line, and he'd have the lane line on the right, and then he'd exit the roundabout. So he takes his awareness halfway through from the left lane line to the right lane line as soon as it starts to exist. Okay, now like I say, there is a very, very detailed drawn version of this if you want to go to my spiral roundabout drawn picture, which is really detailed, okay? So I would always tell a learner, never, ever, ever change lanes on your test. If you've got your lane wrong, follow the lane the way that it was intended by design. Go the way that it was designed for. Don't try and change lanes on a roundabout on your test. You're likely to fail, guys. Just stay in lane and exit the roundabout safely. When the lane line is long and big, it's called a guideline. The one on the right in the middle lane is called a guideline now. And as it gets smaller, it's called a connector. And you use that connector to be connected to the correct guideline again. Sometimes the connectors can be very, very small. Check out my video for the McDonald's roundabout that I'm telling you about that's drawn, okay? So I really hope this helps, guys. I really do. I know that sometimes people think it's complicated, but in the end, when students get this, they actually prefer bigger roundabouts because it's much easier. You don't give way to the right at the beginning because it's traffic light controlled, so there's no giving way or blockers or anything. You just follow the line. So it's sign reading on approach, and then it's following the lane line on the right if you're in the left or the middle lane, and following the line on the left if you're in the far right lane for a certain amount of time, and then you rainbow jump your attention to the right, and then you exit using that line. Guys, I really hope that helps, and I'll speak to you soon.